Well, it happened real fast. I remember coming back from Europe. Season was over. I don't want to say I don't want to say I absolutely didn't want to play, but I didn't want to play. And I can tell you for truth, for 2 years I was getting phone calls to come back and play in Finland, in England, in Austria, and I just said no, no. It's like I lost the love of the game. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the game, but when you're 30 years old and you've been on this roller coaster, and to lose your father without the capability of understanding, you just you just go to places that you don't really want to be, and that was where I went. And so I came home. I had a house. I actually bought the family house on Strathcona, and I just hunkered in there for the winter, and I didn't do anything. It was funny when I remember sitting there thinking, when I played hockey, you never knew what day it was because they always gave you an itinerary, and it didn't matter whether it was Sunday or Tuesday or Thursday. 8 o'clock here, 10 o'clock here. What your life was dictated to. For the first time in my life, I had no timetable. I mean, I remember sitting there. This is going to sound weird. I remember sitting at the front window, looking outside, eating a pizza and drinking beer on a Thursday afternoon. Like I'd never done that before. I mean, I did, but I never really did. I had nobody to answer to, no clock to stick to deal with, and I just I still didn't have the tools to deal with all this stuff, but I just didn't want to play anymore. So the adjustment for me that first year was really tough because I didn't do anything. But Ted Irvin was in my life, and he had handled my business affairs, my financial affairs. He'd always taught me about it. I had an interest in it. And he just finally said, well, look, why don't you try this? I mean, I've been doing it. There's some courses you need to take, and, it gives you some purpose. And long story short, I started with him in 87, 88. And we've been together ever since in a partnership in business. And he's, he's my brother. He's my older brother. And he actually helped me get through all the crap that I couldn't get through on my own. So he's been an incredible mentor for me. Coaching, I eventually coached a little bit before my son was born. I coached when my son was born. I coached him a little bit. I've made the comment, I'd coach again if somebody paid me, but I wouldn't do it for nothing, simply because the parents shouldn't be allowed in the building. In particular, they're there for the wrong reasons in most cases. In some cases. Some parents are brilliant. They just let their kids play, but too many of them think that they're the next Wayne Gretzky at 8 years old, and these kids need to have fun. They're kids. Let them have fun. So I never really had any aspirations to coach at a high level. And scouting wasn't up my alley because if you know the scouting routines and that's a lot of travel. That's a lot away from home. I'm a homebody. I like my home. I like my cabin. I like my life simple, not complicated. And you remember I said earlier, I lived to an itinerary and I didn't like it. And I'm not about to go back by choice. And that's what they have to do. Tuesday you're in Winnipeg, Wednesday you're in Regina. No thanks. No thanks. Well, I jokingly say it this way. It did to this degree. That Ted, when I played, Ted had handled my affairs, and he must not have done a very good job because I'm still friggin' working, Ted. But guys today, they make millions, and they shouldn't require any guidance. Pretty much, once you sign your second contract, you should be set up. But I always tell my clients, look, I've already retired once. I had to change a career dramatically, and I had to have an opportunity to afford to make a career change, which is a form of retirement. So I learned a lot moving from from a hockey rink to an office. But it took a long time to earn the respect of clients because who was I? I came from a hockey world. I didn't go to universities and get it. I mean, I'm on course all the time. We take all kinds of different courses related to our industry and our business and our planning. But I've been at it since 1988. So you garner a lot of experience. But hockey allowed me to be a people person. I knew how to deal with people. I can talk to people. I can make them smile. I can make them cry. We engage with everybody, and that's what life's about, and that's what business is about, engaging with people. I've been to a couple, actually. I was fortunate to play 2011 in February. Ray Neufeld and I went to Hartford, Connecticut, and played in an outdoor game. Hartford Whaler alumni against the Boston Bruin alumni, which was a bit of a reunion, which was great fun. Hadn't been back there in many, many, many years. We've never really had our team have a reunion in Flin Flon with the Bombers, but the Flin Flon Bombers always have a reunion. And if you've once played for the Bombers, you're forever a Bomber. So those are always fun. I never played with Jerry Hart, but he's a great friend of mine. Blaine Stoughton, I never played with him in Flin Flon, but I played with him in Hartford. He's a great friend of mine. Of course, I played with Ray Neufeld. Him and I are great friends. Kim Davis in Winnipeg, great friends. But once a Bomber, there's this incredible inertia of friendship across generations. No other team. You got to remember, John, I played on teams that all went out of business. I played for think about this, Flin Flon Bombers, Western Canada Hockey League. The next year, after I left, they were sold, so they left. Then I went to the New England Whalers. Not only did that team fold, but the league folded. And then I became the Hartford Whalers of the NHL that don't exist anymore. They're the Carolina Hurricanes. Then I was traded to the Minnesota North Stars. And, they're not there anymore. They went to Dallas, so now it's the Minnesota Wild. Then I played for the Winnipeg Jets. And they're not the Winnipeg Jets current. They're the old Winnipeg Jets. Played in Sherbrooke with the Sherbrooke Canadians when we won the Calder Cup. Now they don't exist anymore. The only team that really exists in its structure that I played with is Ilves in Finland. Everybody else, I'm an alumni of nobody.